Some places, they just feel wrong. Not dangerous, not immediately, just wrong. Like a word misspelled, or a note out of key in an otherwise beautiful song. That's how I felt about the Blackwood Pines. A deep, forgotten stretch of forest, hours from the nearest highway. My buddy Mark always called it God's own cathedral. He loved the isolation, the sheer crushing quiet of it all. Me. I liked quiet too, but Blackwood Pines had a different kind of quiet. A listening quiet. We'd set up camp late afternoon. Small two-man tent, a crackling fire, the usual. Mark, ever the optimist, was already buzzing about the star show we'd get. No light pollution out here, he said. Just us and the endless glittering cosmos. I remember looking up just as the last slivers of twilight bled from the sky, and thinking the stars here felt colder, sharper. As night deepened, the forest truly awoke, or rather it began to settle. The usual symphony of crickets, owls, and rustling leaves that you expect in the woods, it wasn't there. Or if it was muted, suppressed. I mentioned it to Mark. Just the deep woods, man, he'd shrugged, stirring the coals. Different ecosystem. Everything sleeps early, but I knew it wasn't right. Even in the deepest wilderness, there's always something. The wind picked up, a thin, icy breath that snaked through the pine needles. It sounded like whispering. We talked for a while by the fire, about work, about old girlfriends, about nothing much. But gradually our voices got softer. We found ourselves leaning in, as if afraid to break the profound stillness beyond our small circle of light. The trees around us were impossibly tall, their branches tangled like skeletal fingers reaching for a bruised, starless sky. It started with the feeling, that primal, undeniable prickle on the back of your neck. The one that screams, you are not alone. I tried to rationalize it. Animal. Just an animal. But my eyes kept darting to the impenetrable wall of darkness beyond the firelight. It felt porous. It's something could step out of it or simply be in it without effort. Mark noticed it too, saw his gaze lingering on the shadows, his easy smile replaced by a furrowed brow. He stopped talking midway through a sentence about fishing, his eyes fixed on a spot behind our tent. "Did you hear that?" he whispered, his voice tight. "Hear what?" I lied, but my heart was hammering against my ribs. It sounded like something moving, big. We sat in absolute silence then, listening. My breath felt shallow. The fire, which had been so comforting, now seemed to draw attention to us. A beacon in the crushing dark. The whispers in the wind grew bolder, intertwining, forming patterns that almost sounded like words, just beyond the edge of understanding. We went into the tent. It offered no real safety, just a thin layer of nylon between us and whatever was out there. The night air inside was suddenly stifling. I could hear Mark's ragged breathing beside me. He was clutching a small hunting knife, though against what neither of us knew. Then came the tapping, a soft, deliberate tap. Tap on the side of the tent, right beside Mark's head. Not an animal. Too slow. Too purposeful. It lasted for maybe 10 seconds, then stopped. The silence that followed was even worse. I felt it then. A coldness that wasn't from the winter air seeped into my bones, to my very soul. A profound, ancient malevolence. It wasn't just watching us. It was waiting. And it was playing. It enjoyed our fear. It fed on it. Sleep was impossible. Every rustle of the leaves, every creak of a branch became a monstrous threat. I kept my eyes clamped shut, trying to believe it was just my imagination, the deep woods getting to me. But I knew it wasn't. This was real. This was a presence, an entity, and it had found us. When morning finally broke, a weak, watery light filtered through the canopy. We scrambled out of the tent, our faces pale, our eyes bloodshot. The fire was long dead. There were no tracks in the light dusting of snow around our camp. Nothing but the quiet. It was still there. It felt heavier, if something had truly listened through the night and was now just resting. We packed up in record time, not speaking a word. We didn't even look back as we hiked out of the Blackwood Pines. They never went back. Mark, he tried to forget it, but I see it in his eyes sometimes. That haunted, knowing look. The one that says he remembers the silence, the whispers, and the tapping. Because some places don't just feel wrong, they are wrong. And in the Blackwood Pines, something ancient still waits, listening in the silence.